Welcome to episode 53 of the BRASH Sports Podcast, brought to you by Crock-Pots. Fat, lazy white people who don't actually like to cook, we got you covered. Brandon, it's been a nice long break since we jumped in and did this, man. What is going on? How have you been?
Yeah, I don't know what happened there, my friend. We went on a little pre-Halloween hiatus for a while.
That was it. We were gearing up for Halloween.
Yeah, we were. I mean, I know myself personally, was really excited about Halloween coming up, but I wanted to do a little Halloween episode, but don't look like that's going to be in the cards. Who knows? We still have our Pick'em Pandemonium, so we could probably bust something out in very short notice.
Well,
but
we can dive into some stuff here, like what are your favorite scary movies? Like get into some of that stuff. Why not?
Yeah, we could dabble. We could dabble.
We've got the background for it.
But again, I know, we've had this conversation just recently where you're not that big in the whole scary movie thing.
I'm not a scary movie guy. I don't know. I like to be scared when I'm not expecting it. And when I'm watching a scary movie, the entire time I'm like, oh, something scary is going to happen. And it just doesn't, I don't know. It doesn't do it for me. I never really look forward to them. I don't mind them. When I do sit down and watch them, I like them. But I never think I'm going to sit down and watch a scary movie. And you do that like fucking constantly every day in October, I think.
Every day in October, right? You gots to.
It's amazing. All right. Well, think about it. Think about your top five and we'll circle back. We'll get to it by the end of the episode.
All right. Yeah, we don't have official rankings, so it's something you can whip up there in the last second.
Yeah, I like that.
We're winging it today. For those,
big wing.
There's nothing in front of us. No hit list. Nothing. Yeah. We're completely ballparking it. We might seem a little choppy at times because that's just going to be part of the editing process.
Yeah, it's a chop suey episode. We're going to chop it up. We got a lot to talk about. I mean, 2 weeks of NFL have gone by since we've recorded. Dude, I went from having my best week of picks 2 weeks ago to having my worst week of picks this past weekend. I called the Browns over the 49ers. I called over the Eagles. No more undefeated teams in the NFL.
You did call that.
And then this past week, I just fucking laid the biggest egg. It was such a big, stinky egg. Nobody wants it. No one wants to crack that egg. It's just going to sit there rotting. And I don't really know how to feel about it because now my confidence going into this week is just shot. Like to make picks. How do you bounce back, man? Like when you have a shit week, how do you bounce back?
Yeah. As bad as your week was this past week, mine was even worse because the two that we disagreed on, you got right. You had the Falcons over the Lions, right? Or the Ravens over the Lions. I picked the other bird.
No, dude. I had the Lions.
Okay. But you picked the Eagles over the Dolphins.
I picked the Eagles over the Dolphins. Yes. So I think we split on our picks. So we were equally awful.
Okay.
Without a Pick'ems episode.
I'm looking at every single one of mine is wrong. Except for the Giants beating the Commanders.
We were both on the Giants.
I'm not gonna be able to pick my sorry ass Commanders any more this season. The Bears whooping the Raiders ass. I didn't pick that.
Nobody did, dude. You gotta talk about your boy from not from Morgantown, from Martinsburg. Give us the rundown on this kid.
Tyson Bagent, 23 years old. He went to college at Shepherd University in Shepherdstown, which is stunning. And I just found this out today, and I was actually hyping this kid up playfully as a joke because Tyson Bagent, nobody had ever heard of him. But no, he did. He went out there and then got his first win on his very first time ever taking an NFL field, which is impressive. And yeah, I just read today, it just was one of those random news feeds, things that popped up on your phone. It was like, local, sports, star is, shining bright in the NFL. And I was like, and I just saw a picture of Tyson Bagent. I'm like, oh shit. And then sure as shit, Martinsburg, West Virginia is his hometown, and that's only about 15-20 minutes for me. So That's actually
Yeah.
where I have to
He's
go to work
easily
sometimes.
the most famous person to ever come out of Martinsburg. He's the richest person,
Oh,
I
yeah.
imagine, even on the NFL's minimum salary. He's still doing better than everyone else in
Yeah.
Martinsburg. But I've been to Martinsburg. It's a decent little town. It's cool. I've driven through. I never really stopped and hung out or anything. But
That place has got a lot of potential, man. I love that historic downtown
yeah,
district, and it's a really cool looking place. Talking about horror movies, I was actually just thinking like that would be a great backdrop. That old town, for like some sort of horror movie. That place at night would be creepy as fuck. But
if
no, I love that. That old town feel with all those old ass
if
buildings.
someone gave you like an unlimited budget and said, Brandon, you could make any horror movie you want, what genre would it be? Would it be like zombies or aliens or
Oh,
like if you could pick
yeah,
one,
no,
what would you do?
that is a really I mean, of course, I've brainstormed that in my head a million times. Um, I'd probably because I want to be doing something different. I'd probably veer off and do like the eerie alien thing, where
Okay.
it's just like, almost like how Signs did it, where the real payoff isn't until the way end.
Yeah. You'd have a
Um,
Shyamalan twist.
or just some just new just mind fuck type of a creature,
Dude.
that like that you'd only see in like your nightmares,
Yeah.
like Shadow Man and shit like that, like something that really,
Castle
if
Freak.
do right, will scare the living shit out of you. Castle Freak is a classic. If you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor. Shout out to Stuart Gordon.
Yes, big shout out. This
Or
show.
I said Stuart Gordon. Yeah, Stuart Gordon. I'm a fucking idiot. Now I'm always second guessing myself. I'm that
That's
kind
all
of
right.
type of guy. What can I
I
say?
hope his name is Stuart Gordon because
It is.
the fans of our show know that this show is a Stuart Gordon show. We're big fans of his.
Stuart Gordon, the horror movie director. Gordon's not to be confused with Gordon Stewart, the NASCAR
Yeah, yeah,
driver.
yeah.
So just
Those they get
let's not
each
mix
other's
those up.
mail all the time. And like, God damn
Dude,
it, not again.
at first it used to piss them off. Now they just have a good laugh about it. They call each other out like, you son of a bitch.
Oh man. All right. So yeah, so we had Badgent. Is that how you pronounce it? Badgent or Bajent?
That's how I'm going to say it. I say Badgent, like Badger.
I thought it was Bajent. And
Tyson the Badger Badgent
oh, see,
is his nickname.
I thought a
That's what
cool
I'm going
nickname
with.
would be Secret Bajent Man. But
There you go. All right, that's not
let's
bad.
just see how we'll just have to watch we'll have to watch a Bears game to figure out how to pronounce his name, and that's probably not going to happen anytime soon.
So he lit Soldier Field up 162 yards and 1 touchdown, but no interceptions.
Dude,
Okay, that's a
that's the
big deal
key.
for your first NFL start.
That is the key.
You picked the Colts. That was it. You picked the Colts,
That was
and I
the
picked
one.
the Browns 39-38. I mean,
Dude,
Gardner Minshew, 305 yards, 2 touchdowns. What?
and like
Where the
100 yards
hell?
rushing, dude. He had like 100 yards on the ground also. He just
Yeah, he was
lit
on a
that
mission.
defense up. Dude,
And who's this
Gardner on
receiver?
a mission, Minshew.
Josh Downs. Am I supposed to know who that is? It looks like a rookie out of North Carolina. Josh Downs, who had 5 receptions for 125 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, no, they jumped back and forth to that game a lot on red zone because there was just constant action. It was unbelievable. And yeah, he kept throwing it to him. I've never heard of this kid. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of the name of their main guy. Pittman, I guess, would be the only receiver I can name on that squad, but he didn't seem to be on the field. Josh Downs must be the guy. Maybe a sneaky waiver wire pickup. I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah, like if there aren't enough wide receivers to choose from in fantasy football, that's the problem. There's so many.
Well, we're dealing with a 10-man league, so there's just a lot of girth out there on the waivers. Every
There
week
is.
I'm constantly like, oh, how do I pick? There's a lot of juicy nuggets out there, but I got a lot of nuggets on the bench that I don't want to give up because there's just only so many spots. Speaking of fantasy, dude, God, my team is awful. It's awful.
Hey, they
It
won
sucks. I don't think
the big money. The big money one won. So that's, you know.
Big Money League won, but I'm more invested in the Brash League, honestly. I like the Brash League more. I like the people in it more. We can talk about it on here
Yeah.
more.
I'm
So,
I'm 3 and 4 in both. So
ooh,
it's and
okay.
literally every single time I've won in one league, I win in the other, and of course vice versa. So
Oh,
that's
really?
just the way it goes sometimes, Josh. But speaking of fantasy, I did pick up a little guy named Dalton Kincaid this past week, who I didn't start. I just picked him up as a security blanket backup, but he had
Sure.
his kind of coming out game, right? 8 receptions, 75 yards, but unfortunately, the Bills still fell to the Patriots, 29-25.
Yeah, that was a shocker. Can we talk about
Yikes!
that for a second? I mean, the Bills, are they like the most fraudulent team in the NFL? Like, in terms of everybody hypes them up, they fucking smoke Miami, which I guess they're another one we should talk about. But like, you don't know what you're getting from them week to week, and you think, oh, this should be a no brainer. They go into New England and win, and they just fucking sucked. They really didn't look good, and that game was close, but it shouldn't have been. What's going on with them?
Yeah, I just think they're obviously extremely inconsistent, and maybe that'll end up playing in their favor because every time they're like, you know what, 11-5, 11-6 or whatever, and or more,
Yeah,
then they're more expected to go all the way, or at least to the AFC Championship. So maybe if they can sneak into the playoffs, they'll be a little bit more dangerous. Maybe they have to be looked at as an underdog for them to perform well. Maybe that's
that's
what it
got to
is.
be. I mean, it's got to help. Yeah, I pulled up the standings right now. They're only a game back in the AFC East. So, and Dolphins to me are so frustrating because I want to root for them so bad, but they just can't win a tough game. They can only beat up on bad teams, and they're gonna have to play tougher teams in colder weather, and I don't know if that offense can move the ball when it's, like, cold outside, and that's really discouraging because I wanna see
Wow,
them in the
yeah.
Super Bowl, like,
I
they're
didn't even notice
electric.
that. Chargers, who they barely beat, remember, by the skin of their
Barely.
teeth week
Yep.
1, and then Pats, Broncos, Giants, Panthers are their other wins. So,
Not impressive.
um, and they get the Pats again this upcoming weekend. But I don't know. I don't know what to make of the Dolphins. I mean, I still think their offense is the most exciting.
Yeah.
But yeah, who knows? Maybe they're just one of those teams that they're going to beat up on the shitty teams, and they're going to struggle against the decent teams. But
Yeah.
yeah, they still. I'm just looking though at the rest of their schedule to see which ones are, like they have to play, of course, the Bills again. They get the Cowboys. Oh no, they got the Commanders. They better. That's a sneaky one. That's a sneaky one.
Uh-oh.
They better watch their ass. And the Kansas City Chiefs, who's who they have after the Pats. So
Oh, that
um,
game, that's a Germany game.
is that the Germany game? Okay, it does say 9:30 in the
Yeah,
morning.
man.
That'll be fun.
Fucking Krauts are stealing one of our best game. Might have to edit that out. I don't know if can you say Krauts? I don't know.
I've never I've never heard that term before.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it's offensive. I don't know though.
Well, nobody's heard hornskin, but if you say hornskin, watch out. Beep beep beep.
Yeah, it's like that Tosh bit where he's like spoon face
Of
and it's
course.
not a
Yeah.
thing, and
There's
people are
so
just
many
getting that.
things. Yeah. Yeah. So many things you could say. I mean, we're gonna stop there, but
Yeah, oh, yeah,
we'll
yeah, yeah.
we'll save that
Let's
for its own episode one day.
or the Brash official world rankings, racial slur
Yeah.
edition. Yeah.
Other upsets worth noting here. I'm not going to count the Steelers or the Ravens winning. I mean,
Well, I don't know, dude. The Ravens winning the way they won was shocking. I mean, they fucking handled the Lions, and Lamar Jackson looked like the best player in the NFL. I was watching that game a lot, and they looked really, really good. They're scary, dude. I don't know. Should we throw together like a last minute? power rankings because they're climbing up in mine.
Yeah, well, I haven't prepared mine, so I'm not going to stop you though. You want to throw in some power rankings, Josh? Feel free. We're winging it today. There are no
Dude,
rules.
I could whip one up right now. And I've given this little to no thought. Let me see. Number five, I
Oh
would
God.
have, geez, probably the Jaguars, Jacksonville Jaguars at number 5. They're very good. They can beat a lot of teams, but they're another one where I just don't think they match up great against the best teams in the league. But I would trust them to beat almost everybody. Number 4, I would put the Eagles. Even though, dude, they're 6-1, they're very impressive. They're good, but I still don't really trust them. And Jalen Hurts, he was kind of limping around. I think he might have done too many of those brotherly shoves, and he might have gotten
If you know
himself in
what I
trouble.
mean.
If you know, that was not a euphemism. So he did too many of those. I'm still going to put the 49ers at 3. I think they could beat the Eagles and the Jaguars if it's a neutral field. And then I'll do the Ravens at 2, and then the Chiefs at 1.
Ravens at 2. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
Ravens at 2, man. I think they could beat anybody except for the Chiefs right now. If they play as well as they did on Sunday, they've got all the pieces. In fact, I think they're banged up. So once they get healthy, watch out. But the Chiefs to me are clearly the best team in the league. Like they are dialed in. They're so good right now. Travis Kelce, since dating Taylor Swift openly, his numbers are unbelievable. It's like if you knew Taylor Swift was going to watch this show, you and I would be so prepared. We would not be just fucking around like we are. We would have a beautiful hit list. We'd be running through each item. We'd probably be wearing like ties. And that's what happens when you have like the most famous woman in the world is your girlfriend. You have to show up every Sunday. You just have to. And that's like so dangerous because he's already one of the best tight ends ever. And Mahomes just relies on him so much as it is. Now you're going to fucking add that chip on his shoulder and that extra level of motivation. See you later, dude. If they stay together through the Super Bowl, man, I think the Chiefs are going to be very difficult to beat. And that defense, dude, that most underrated defense in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, I just think Travis Kelce's always been that productive, even before he was knocking boots with Taylor Swift.
Knocking boots.
That's right.
Dude, should we have a knocking boot segment?
Coming up next week.
I agree. He's always been productive, but look at the numbers. I saw the numbers earlier, like on Twitter or something. He's like doubling what he was doing before.
Oh wow. Okay.
It's unbelievable.
No. Guess I'll take a look at those numbers.
Yeah. Dude. Taylor Swift in the crowd, you have got to have your A game. You can't slouch. She's the most famous woman in the world. She's going to be a billionaire soon.
All that said, Chiefs beating the Chargers was not an upset. That was foretold by many people.
Of course, but they looked really good.
I wanted the Chargers to somehow pull that one off, but of course I picked the Chiefs because I can't pick the Chargers anymore. It's like my Redskins. I just can't do it anymore. And the Vikings, who won Monday Night Football against the 49ers, that was a huge upset in my opinion because none of us saw them losing back to back. And I just don't have the Vikings as that good of a team. And it really surprised me that 49ers defense, who we've been hyping up all season, they did not look like a dominant defense last night.
No, Kirk Cousins carved them up.
378 yards, 2 touchdowns, and only 1 pick. And fuck this, this talk about waiver wire that I didn't pick him up because he was my second option. Mr. John Mayhew's, of course, picked him up. Jordan Addison,
Yeah. Yeah.
He's legit, dude. 7 receptions, 123 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So
Now, once
he,
Justin Jefferson comes back, his numbers will go down, but he's really good. There's no doubt about it. I mean, talk
he's
about
like
a
he's
just
the
a
Jalen Waddle of the Vikings. That's what he
yes,
is.
he is. Just like serviceable he'd be the number one receiver on a lot of teams. Like the Giants would fucking kill to have a Jordan Addison on their team. But dude, Giants young wide receivers played well on Sunday, man. Jalen Hyatt had a good game. Wandale Robinson, we've been waiting for him to pop. He finally was somewhat productive. So I don't know, man. I like our young receivers, but I don't know. I guess the real question is it time to sit Danny Dimes because Tyrod Taylor looks so much better than him.
Yeah,
It's
no,
kind of upsetting.
he had a spectacular game. The score 14-7 really doesn't do it justice
No.
because it and hey, talk about fantasy knowledge. I did pick up the Giants defense because it was an emotional play,
Yeah.
because it was either they play, really good and it's good for me, or they play bad and I don't give a shit. But
Right.
no, these last 2 games, they've been surprisingly stout, and that D line is getting after people. Think
Yeah.
they how many times what were the total sack numbers on Hal? Poor Hal. That guy's not going to make it another few games because he's getting 6 sacks for a 52-yard loss.
Yeah. He's on
Um,
track to shatter the record, I think.
God, that is horrible. But it also doesn't help that they made him drop back 42 times. Jesus, stupid ass. I got a thought here real quick. The only
Yeah, please.
reason they're not firing Ron Rivera, or they haven't fired him yet, I should say, because I would have canned his ass right after that Bears game. Um, and I it took me a while because I was like, why wouldn't they do this? Give Eric Bieniemy a chance. It's a free play. See what you got. See if he has it in him to actually lead a team as a head coach. They're saying to themselves, the new ownership's like, fuck that. We're just going to tank this season. And that way, when we start from scratch ourselves, we're basically going to fire everybody in the front office,
Yeah.
all the coaches. And if we have an opportunity to get a stud quarterback at like a top 5 pick, we're going to do it because there's a few options in the upcoming draft, according to the experts. I'm not one of them, but they say that there's a lot of talent at the quarterback position for these juniors and seniors coming out. So I think that might have something to do with it because
Yeah.
there's no advantage to keeping Ron Rivera around. There's no advantage
No.
at all.
No, unfortunately, he's one of those guys where the game has just passed him by and he
Yep.
doesn't seem willing to evolve with it.
Nope.
He's still thinks it's 1997 and yeah, it's just not. You need to be real creative. You've got to find a stud quarterback. You need to protect him, and you need fast wide receivers who can run a bevy of routes and have great blocking schemes for him. Yeah, it's just it's a different game, and he's coaching like a dinosaur, unfortunately, because Ron Rivera is a great guy. Everybody likes him. He's a
Yeah.
good guy, Hall of Fame, but as far as coaching
Jim
goes,
Zorn was a great guy, spectacular guy, a real stand-up guy. Terrible
so
NFL head coach.
right. Because I like where your head's at, and I agree. But don't you think Bieniemy, even if you're saying we're gonna do a whole new thing, wouldn't he be in consideration anyway? Like you gotta think he's had all those years of success in Cincinnati. Like give him the
Well,
keys for the last half of the season, see what he can do,
that's what I
and let
mean.
that
It's
be his resume.
I mean, but it's like the only reason they wouldn't make that move now and just give him a shot is because they're almost scared that, well, what if he ends up winning more games? I mean, I think again they're in the mindset of
Oh,
full tank at this point. They're okay with Ron
okay,
and Jack Del Rio just all the way until the end of the season, and
okay,
they'd be fine with this going the remainder of the way, not winning another game. I mean,
okay.
that would not bother them.
But so then Bieniemy would still be a coaching candidate in your mind, because I think he has to be.
Well, I think again, if we're going full tank, then I would fire fucking everybody. I'd
Wow.
fire everybody, the whole front office and all the coaches, and that's just it. Because that would be the fresh start. Then maybe then you can interview Bieniemy to see if he wants to then hire his own staff after that. But again,
Sure.
it's a stupid move when you have an opportunity to get a free look at the guy.
Right.
Nothing on the line. Just give him a shot, see if he can get these guys inspired or make some fucking adjustments because we just do the same shit every goddamn week. And
Yeah.
it's hard. It is hard, my friend. It's not easy to watch. But quick score update with
Oh,
the MLB playoffs. Um, some people that were paying attention might have noticed that Texas Rangers are headed to their first World Series since 2011. And my championship parlay lives on.
we've got to talk about it. I can't believe we've been recording this long and haven't talked about it yet. My championship parlay MLB pick versus your championship
That's
parlay
right.
MLB pick went 7 games in the American League Championship Series. Fucking
It was
unbelievable. For two guys who know nothing about baseball, man, we got to
nothing at
pat
all.
ourselves on the back.
Yep. I have a new strategy. First of all, when did we make our championship parlay picks? What month
It,
was it?
it was right after the Stanley Cup wrapped up,
Oh, okay. All
wasn't
right,
it? It
good.
was like July,
Whenever
early
it was, we
July.
gotta find out because then that's the time we're doing it every single year moving forward. Because I had a strategy as to how I picked the Texas Rangers, but I'm not gonna give it away. Not gonna give it away, even though
Yeah,
I
no,
already
hold
told
on to
you.
that
But
one. Yeah.
yeah, and of course that could they still have another series to go, but the Arizona Diamondbacks are beating the Phillies right now 1-0. And I
Wow.
would much rather see the Diamondbacks because again, I just don't want to see any Philadelphia team have a chance at a trophy. It just I don't care if it's baseball and I don't pay any attention to it. It still stings.
Dude, you know who does not want to see the Diamondbacks and the Rangers? Bud Selig. That is in terms of like hype around a series. Now I know you and I obviously are going to be gassed up for it,
Yeah,
mostly because of
yeah.
your parlay, but to not have like a major market team in the World Series, he's not happy about it. I guarantee it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. But neither of them have won a World Series either, too, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I didn't know if you already mentioned that. But yeah, that's what sticks with me. It goes back to that joke we had about a Bengals Lions Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like or Browns Lions Super Bowl. Of course, Roger Goodell would not be happy one
No.
bit. But
No.
yeah, I think the neutral fan would be thrilled. Talk about anyone's game at that point. But yeah, dude, it's if the Rangers can go all the way, then I'm just going to be a little bit worried for those Cincinnati Bengals because then they're coming up next and they got a long road ahead of them, starting with the 49. They're pissed off San Francisco 49ers next weekend. So not feeling great about that one. But who knows? Maybe the 49ers are entering a slump. We don't know. Big old stinky
Could
slump.
be. I just think, so I picked the Browns to upset the 49ers, and a lot of that was they were, short week coming off of this emotional victory, heading into Cleveland with a really stout defense and then playing in the rain. And then I thought for sure, okay, they'll turn it around in Minnesota, and they obviously didn't. They did not look the same. But I think getting home, getting comfortable, settling in, I mean, I won't give away too much because we still want people to tune into the pick 'em. But, I I don't know. I think it's a really tough spot for the Bengals. But coming off a bye week, I mean, that's the best time you could hope to play San Francisco on the road. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So who knows? Anything can fucking happen. This year has proven in the NFL, anything can happen any week between any two teams. It's awesome. I love it.
Bengals next 4 games: San Francisco, Buffalo, Houston, Baltimore. Ugh. That's a tough
That's a
road.
brutal stretch. And their division, dude, the NFC North or the AFC North is by far
I
the
know.
best division.
Steelers are shocking me, dude. What is going on in Pittsburgh? I mean, it's Mike Tomlin. Mike fucking Tomlin. That guy, he'll be damned if he has a losing season. That will
Yeah.
never happen to him. Not as long as it's with
Yeah,
the black
dude.
and gold. Bastard.
Dude, that It's the defense, it's the coaching. Kenny Pickett in the fourth quarter, I saw his stats earlier, like surprisingly good. Um, I think he's just maybe one of those guys that isn't going to put up a ton of numbers, but can just find a way to win. Like that always helps to have a find a way to win guy. And if he's one of those guys, tiny hands or not, like they have a
I
good
know.
shot of winning a lot of games.
I know. He really started turning it around after I started talking shit about him and his little hands. Shame on me.
It's true.
I should have known better. I know. I was
Yeah,
trying to see.
we have to get the brash bulletin board going because we give we give players and teams so much bulletin board material and it always bites us in the ass. It's like they know. They know.
So yeah, if you look up Mr. Kenny Pickett, how many touchdowns would you guess he has thrown this season? Now I don't feel so bad about talking shit about him. Spoiler alert.
I would say maybe one per get 6, maybe 5 or
Okay.
6.
He has
Not
the
many.
same amount as Gardner Minshew at 5 touchdowns this season.
Gardner Minshew started 2 games.
Yep. Whereas Kirk Cousins leads the league at 16.
Yeah.
And Sam Howell has 9. Poor little Sam Howell. I know, poor guy.
Well, yeah, but they're never. I mean, the Steelers are designed to avoid shootouts, right? If they get into a shootout, they're gonna lose. But I think Tomlin's whole approach is, "Hey, dude, let's use our defense and run
Yep.
game to keep it close,
I love
and
that
then
approach.
let's just
Big
not
fan.
fuck it up." Yeah,
That's that. I mean, defense and the ground game. That's how you do it. That's a recipe. Oh yeah. Listen up, B enemy. All right. Maybe he is already. What's the fucking word I'm looking for? Interviewing for the coaching position. By seeing how he's scheming against these teams. Because I will say, offense has gotten pretty flat these last 3 games, and I'm not seeing a whole lot of creativity. He just and his dude, our pass to run ratio is bad, and I would understand if you didn't have any rush options. But I know I'm hate to veer back to the Redskins here, but I
no, it's
mean,
fine.
and we have good receivers, but we do have Brian Robinson and Antonio Gibson. That's a good duo right there. And
Really good duo.
yeah, and if given them an equal share, or Brian Robinson just a slightly more, if we're in the red zone, then yeah, I think that would be just a better approach. And again, we got nothing to lose. We're what now? 2-4, 2-5. What is it? Or 2-4, right? Yeah.
Do you think it has to do with just a lack of faith in the offensive line? But even so, like
3-4.
Okay,
sorry,
so you don't trust the O
giving
line. You're going to trust them to
giving away a
drop
win.
back. That doesn't make sense.
Well, no, I mean, because the O line has shown that they can't protect the quarterback. So why not just, try scheming something different, try to run the ball, or I don't know, those little pitch passes, like you make the defensive line think they're going to get you. And then you're like, whoop, like, oh, didn't see that coming, did you? Because and that's another thing. We have running backs that can catch the ball, but I digress. We don't have to spend any more time on the burgundy and gold. I've exhausted myself on that. I tried going on my little strike. I stopped watching for 1 week. They did beat the Falcons, but again, it was a close one. Falcons had every opportunity. We needed Desmond Ridder to have a shit game and throw 3 easy picks for us. So it's going to be a really ugly road from here on out. Unfortunately, it was really fun. That 2-0 start was a lot of fun, though. I'll never forget it.
Yeah, no, everybody was hyped up. Everybody was hyped up.
Yeah. I still have my 2-0 banner in my office. I look at it every day.
It's hanging.
Yeah,
It's hanging from the rafters in your office.
2-0, 2023. Never forget.
All right. Is there anything else you want to dive into?
Yeah. I mean, are there any real big stories here? Real quick on your parlay or whatever your bet you had. Sabres are winning 5-1, so I think you probably win that bet, right?
Beautiful.
Got
Yeah, I had over 6.5, so I need one more goal.
Ooh, okay. All right. Well, it's getting down to the wire there, Josh. They better score that goal quick, whoever it is.
Oh shit. how much time is left?
I have no idea. I
Oh
was just yeah,
no.
I'm an idiot. It's the second intermission, so there's a whole nother period to go. I was
All
just
right.
saying that because I was guessing.
5-1 is not a score you want to see though when you need another goal because the defense tightens up. They know they don't need any more goals. But
Perhaps.
empty net potential kind of goes down because centers are like, what are we going to pull our goalie for? We're not going to score 4 times. But you never know. You never ever know. I also have
You never know.
dude, I have Nuggets -5 tonight. They're looking good. They're off to a hot start. I'm
Yeah,
excited
no.
about that.
There's my NBA champion pick. That's right. Picking that
So
repeat. Bring it back.
I bet the Nuggets -5, and then I go to watch the ring ceremony, and I'm thinking the entire time, like, dude, LeBron James is in the locker room right now, hyping the team up, using the ring ceremony that's happening on the floor as motivation. Maybe not one of my best bets, but it seems to be working out right now. They're up 9 at half. So hopefully they can keep that going, close it out strong.
Do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I really got nothing else. In
Dude,
particular.
the fans want to know your top 5 horror movies. Give them
Oh, I
to us.
know. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that would take me way too long to
Break
come
them
up
into
with.
categories if you have to. Like what's the best zombie movie?
The best zombie movie of well, I have to say nostalgically, the original Night of the Living Dead or the second one, in color. I like them both just as much. The scariest one is that remake of Dawn of the Dead when they're in the fucking mall. That one make you
Dude,
shit.
I saw that one. It's so scary.
One. That one's one of the scariest fucking movies ever. Um, you know, we already mentioned Castle Freak, you know, as just a horror movie. I know it's not a zombie movie, but you know, those are I've mentioned the zombie movies. Castle Freak just as just a classic. I always say 80s horror movie because it looks like an 80s horror movie, but it's not. It's actually early
Yeah.
90s. They were just on a really, really low budget. And I think a lot of that too is they wanted to film it also like it was an 80s horror movie because those are the best.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, to really put a proper list together, it would take me some time because there's always going to be one or a couple that I'm leaving out because they're just not coming across my brain. I just told you I watched the Babadook, which I know a lot of people don't like because they either say it's not scary or it doesn't make any sense or there's no plot or you know whatever. But the first time you watch that movie, again, if you haven't seen it, just give it a shot. Okay. Take
I
90
haven't.
minutes out of your day. It's not going to kill you. And yeah, I mean, there's some weird, creepy stuff in that movie. Yeah. And of course, the remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre was absolutely horrifying too.
Yeah.
I've never seen the original because when I saw the remake, it was so scary. I was like, I don't want to see the original because I think the original would be more fucked up.
All right. Well,
They
there
had
you
no
have
rules
it.
in the 70s.
There's 1 week until Halloween to get caught up on these horror movies. I know I haven't watched any yet this season. I usually am good for a couple, so I got to get
I've
to it
been
maybe
watching
this
a
weekend.
lot of really, really bad 70s and 80s. That's what I've been watching recently. I've been telling everyone, you know, Anderson got me into this Joe Bob Briggs. You ever heard of him?
No.
Yeah, yeah,
Joe Bob Briggs.
Joe Bob Briggs has been around forever, dude. And yeah, he's a drive-in movie theater critic. That used to be a thing. And but
Okay.
he's been on TV since, you know, since like the early 80s. And um he used to do like you know, the creature feature and stuff when we were kids. Obviously it wasn't geared towards kids. We just happened to be watching TV that late at night when it would be on TNT. But yeah, no, he does these little intermissions periodically throughout the movie and just kind of fills you in on some knowledge about the stars and the history of the film and you know what became of like the directors and shit like that. So, you know, again, you kind of have to just be interested in the whole thing in order to find it entertaining. But yeah, so I've been watching a lot of that shit. Again, a lot of really bad movies because there's a lot of really bad horror movies out there. But you know, sometimes the really bad ones end up being really good. You know, they become cult classics. You know?
Like in a so bad that they're good
Yeah.
type way, or are
So
you just
well, because it's funny. It becomes like a
yeah,
comedy, even though it wasn't meant to be a comedy. You know,
yeah.
Like Daniel's favorite is Silent Night, Deadly Night. Have you ever heard of that? It's this guy, he dresses up as Santa Claus and starts killing everybody with an axe and shit. Yeah. And I mean,
It sounds hilarious.
oh, the acting's terrible. And yeah, I remember he told me he prepared me for what I was about to watch when I borrowed it from him. And yeah, it's so bad, but I could see why it became a cult classic. So again, just throwing out little tidbits there, just in the Halloween spirit over here. Oh, Gus just entered the room, so you know what that means. He's calling
got
it.
to take a shit.
He is calling it.
As far as producers go, he's way better than Anderson. He does so much more for the show. Look at there he is.
Oh my God.
Anderson didn't get on camera once.
He's like, it's time to call this one a wrap. I'm like, whoa.
Where did you get that voice, Gus?
Yeah, he's got a voice for radio, I'll tell you.
All
right. Well, I think that's it, buddy. So yeah, I guess we'll be catching up next on the Pick'em Pandemonium, right?
Coming live to you Saturday morning. Tune in.
All right. Later, dude.
Peace.